Welcome to Picher, Oklahoma, the most cursed ghost town in America. What happens when a town literally eats itself from the inside out? On paper, this used to be one of the most bustling mining towns in America. Now it's a ghost town. We're not just looking at abandoned houses here. We're looking at houses where people were forced out of their lives by the federal government. It's dangerous, it's hollowed out underneath, it's prone to collapse at any minute, and it's toxic with lead and other heavy metals, not only in the soil, but in the water as well. In fact, this is one of the EPA's most widely known and infamous Superfund sites. It's a hollowed out landscape that was officially evacuated by the federal government in 2009. In the 1910s and 1920s, lead and zinc was discovered in the soil. Picher grew almost overnight into a mining town of 14,000 residents. During World War I and World War II, this area supplied the lead and zinc that went into 50% of the bullets used in the war effort. The metal mined literally right from under the streets in this town fueled the war effort and won the war. Mining companies dug over 1,400 subterranean tunnels into the middle of the city, under the middle of the city, and basically the city is supported by columns of soil interlaced with these mining tunnels. It's prone to collapse at any moment. One geologic shift could literally cause this town, or what's left of this, the ghost town, what's left of this ghost town, to fall into the earth. What you see behind me, this gray material, this rock material that looks just like everyday gravel, is called chat. It's a byproduct of the mining industry that was created when the rocks that contain the lead and zinc ore were crushed for processing. It's highly toxic with lead, cadmium, and zinc. It was in sandboxes. It was tracked into every piece of carpet in town. Kids played in it. All a toxic sludge of heavy metals. The dust blowing around this town, and literally dust that gets everywhere, in your car, in your house, in your nose, in your shoes, in your clothes, in the schools, contain high concentrations of lead, cadmium, and zinc. Literally a toxic sludge. By the 1980s, the EPA declared Picher part of the Tar Creek Superfund site. The water in the creek turned bright orange from acid mine drainage, and the ground started collapsing due to the honeycomb of tunnels underneath the town. An Army Corps of Engineers study found that 86% of the town was prone to sinkhole collapse. On May 10th, 2008, the final nail of the coffin was put in. An EF4 tornado struck parts of Picher. It killed 6 people and destroyed entire blocks. The government refused to rebuild under an emergency declaration, but instead chose to evacuate the town due to the threats of the toxic landscape, the toxic water, and the sinkhole collapse. So the government finalized emergency buyouts of residents. When a town disappears this quickly under tragic circumstances, there's an imprint left. I'm standing in one of the many dozens of abandoned houses in Picher, and the feeling here is just sadness, really, because you look around and you can't help but think this was somebody's life. This was a family. This was somebody's dream here that was abruptly upended and abruptly shattered because of the lead smelting and the mining and the toxicity and the general safety of this community. Undermined by miles and miles of mine tunnels, this place sits on pillars of material that were left underneath. So literally with one small earthquake or geologic shift, all this could collapse into a gigantic sinkhole. And that's the given reason that people were moved out, that this was completely abandoned. And it's just sad. It's a striking feeling of sadness and just oppressiveness to think that so many families gave up, or had to be, that so many families were moved out of here, most likely against their will. You know, you grow up in a community, you raise your kids, you put down roots, and all of a sudden you're told to leave something that's where you're established. I can't even imagine the feeling of that. This was not voluntary relocation. This was forced by the government. And you know, the United States government's got a lot of history of that as well. So, yeah, And I know over the years, since 2009, when this was abandoned, there's been a lot of decay. But I can only imagine these houses in pristine condition on the day the families left and what that would look like. Literally a ghost town. A ghost town, and you know, every town has its ghost. And I wouldn't be surprised if there are a few of them that wander this neighborhood. We'll see if we can find some. There's so many houses like this, several blocks of these. And the fact is that the majority of this town was torn down. This just happens to be some of the houses that are still standing. Most are gone. Most were razed to the ground. Just sad, very, very sad. Urban explorers and residents have spoken repeatedly and insistently of shadow figures that walk these chat piles at night. Unearthly figures that don't make any sense, that are unexplainable otherwise, that are seen repeatedly and by trustworthy people. They're seen at night, silhouettes standing where abandoned buildings and abandoned foundations that remain. You know, you won't find shadow figures in state history books. The fact is, there's no official record of this. But urban explorers who come here at midnight and the witching hour tell this repeatedly. It's not one legend by one person that has perpetuated over time. There's repeated information, repeated testimonies on the internet that you can Google for yourself. Are they ghosts? Is there some other explanation? We don't know. There's no photographic evidence of this. There's no studies. There's just anecdotal evidence of people who reportedly have seen these figures. Are they ghosts, or is it just the brain panicking, filling in the gaps on some figure that doesn't make sense because they're standing in the middle of a toxic waste pile in total darkness? Either way, when the sun goes down, this place starts to play mind tricks on the people that are here. On another thread of the unexplained, Picher is located very close to the Kansas state line and not far from Missouri. There's reports of the Hornet Spook Light you might have seen before in this general vicinity. That's a glowing, unexplained orb of light that is seen that's unattached to any other source of that light. It's haunted these back roads since the 1800s. Local lore has it that bodies are disposed in some of these underground tunnels full of acid mine waste to never be seen again. And these mines are located scattered across this landscape. Most of them, if not all of them, undocumented and unmapped. Picher has a unique feel to it. We're not standing in the classic Old West ghost town that has wooden planks and a saloon with swinging doors. We're in a modern suburb that was surgically erased. You can see the detriment that this toxic wasteland has caused to the environment. Damage to the creeks, damage to the timber and the brush. You just hear the wind whistling across these chat piles. I'm here in broad daylight, and it's still spooky. I can only imagine what this place is like at 2 a.m. and what one might see and the feelings that one might have. The fact is, it feels spooky right now. It's spooky, it's creepy. There's a sadness and a heaviness about the place, not the least of which would be caused by the fact that families were uprooted against their will by the government and displaced. It's very sad, very heavy here. As I think you can see through this video, the history of Picher is this: human ambition, industrial sacrifice, environmental destruction, and the sheer power of nature reclaiming what belonged to it in the first place. The fact is, Picher produced the raw materials that defended the free world, but the cost was literally the soul of the town. My hope in producing this video is not only to highlight some of the paranormal occurrences that have been reported here, but to make a call of action so something of this magnitude never happens again. Thanks for flying with us.